99.
Boom.
We back. Baggage claim.
Yeah. Oh, damn.
If you lost it,
Came back
come
right
on,
again.
You gotta,
Mr. Reeves.
You gotta introduce us again. Start with him, and then when you hit me with my introduction.
Man, how you gonna tell me that? I've been doing the introduction for,
That's my
for
bad.
50 shows.
Yes.
I mean, you kidding me?
That's my bad, coach.
You know what I'm saying?
My bad, Coach Reed.
Coach Tommy Guns to my left.
Yes,
Tommy
And we got Debonair D, a.k.a.
Don't give him my alien.
No aliens. All
He
right.
called me Mr. 33606.
It's 33606.
Yes, sir.
Hey, we back in the building.
And I got another rant.
I'm
Another
shocked.
rant. This is keep it 100 when 99 ain't good
I
enough.
got another rant.
And we starting with the rant, but today's show, we want to talk about black imagery. We're going to talk about the judgment zones of athletes and people in
We're gonna
general.
talk about everything,
We're going to
Reed.
touch on quite a few things.
We're going to talk about the big games this weekend.
But I think I got a rant too, though. But go ahead with yours first.
Oh, man.
I just got a couple bullet points. That
You
I like
usually
to
don't
throw
have no
out.
rant.
I knew you don't
Yeah,
have
you
no
usually
rant.
don't rant.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Because I don't. But I think I got one.
I want to give LAVAR Ball, his flowers, as they say. He said it. He told us both his boys were going to be top 5 picks. Basically, all 3 of them in the league right now. One of them in the G League. The youngest boy averaging 19.9, 7.8 rebounds, 7.5 assists. Lonzo averaging 12, 5 and 5.
On one of the best teams in the East.
On one of the best teams in the East.
And signed an $80 million contract.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, free agency signed almost $90 million contract.
Yeah. Then everybody want to talk about Olivia and Archie, the great job they did with Peyton and Eli. God damn it, give LAVAR Ball his flowers and his credit while he here too. Another thing I want to ask you, Coach Reed and Coach Jones. Do you know who Kevin Warren is?
Kevin Warren. I don't.
He played basketball at the University of Pennsylvania, UPenn, Ivy League.
Ivy League.
Transferred out. His father was a pro baseball player for the Brooklyn Dodgers and later in life a professor at Arizona State University. This brother, Kevin Warren, is the commissioner of the Big Ten.
Oh,
Yes.
I knew I heard the name,
Yes.
but I couldn't picture.
You
Yeah.
know what I'm
Yes.
saying? Like, he has an amazing story in itself. Like, his
Yeah.
dad played for the Dodgers and he a professor at the university.
That is
Yeah, that-
amazing.
Which, I don't know why we don't know that, but I have a sneaking suspicion because a certain
Entity.
likes to push the single black mom
Yeah.
narrative.
Yeah.
They don't talk about them. Do you know who Harrison Wilson III is, Coach Reed?
You got me again.
That would be
on one.
Russell Wilson's father, who played football and baseball at Yale.
Wow. We just had this coming. You're right.
I'm just saying, but they don't. No, I'm sorry, he didn't play at Yale. He played at Dartmouth.
So we're just going to transition to the black imagery right now?
Yeah, but I'm just throwing all these out as stuff that we'll never hear about in the media.
You're right.
Well,
about these black
here's
parents.
something that every Monday I check in with my kids.
No.
Hold on, I got something related to that. Hold on one
Okay,
second.
go ahead.
So, and every Monday it's predominantly my daughters. I have 13-year-old preteen daughters.
They
So
would be teens.
I forget that all the time.
I make it a habit to like check in. You know what I mean? Like non-judgment zone, be vulnerable. What's going on, right? So yesterday we had just a random check-in. They wanted to come down and just chop it up with
They
Dad.
want to do a little capping.
Little capping, right? So one of my daughters said, "Dad, I get asked this question all the time. Do you have a dad?" So it was interesting to me, but it was also a spinoff to saying kids are now observant enough to know that one culture comes predominantly from single mom households. So my daughters are being asked this question when
have a dad?
Dad has been to every single game.
Yeah.
They know this, that, and other's going on. So what you're speaking on is very relatable because at the end of the day, now you have kids in the 6th, 7th, and 8th grade that are now spewing things out in comparison to say, "Oh, I have a dad at home, you don't," whatever, which something I personally never did. Like it was, we know. I never thought about it. 12 years old, did somebody have a dad? Or you know what I mean? That's just something I didn't think about.
Well, that media pushing all of that stuff out there so much, the night of
They
them
always
kids,
push it.
yeah, they pay attention to it, and it's something to it.
I got one more for you, Nick. Do you know who Dr. Brad Bayless is, Nick? That would be the
Jerry
father
Bayless.
of Jared Bayless.
Yeah.
Read.
Jerry Bayless.
This
Played for
dude,
Arizona.
He's a clinical and forensic psychologist. He started his company called Bayless Integrated Healthcare. And this is a quote, groundbreaking model for mental health care.
I know. I know who he is. Just knowing
You know
about
what I'm saying?
psychology.
But you don't hear about this. Like I always say, when Adrian Peterson was in college, his dad was in prison. They rushed to do a story on that.
Oh, you know that.
They rushed to do a
And
story on
it sells. It sells. But let's celebrate more of the accomplishments too.
Celebrate this stuff.
Well, in the words that my wife say all the time, why should we expect that?
Right.
Why should we expect that when they selling to an audience, we just happen to be in that audience, but they ain't selling to us.
But
so
also,
why should we? That's why we got to get our own media
Yes.
and pump our own stuff out there.
But we also got to do a better job.
We do.
Of supporting one another.
Yes.
We got to do a better job of being more cohesive and together. We got to do a better job of understanding that really the dynamics of going on without taking certain things personal and understanding the machine that you're
Dare
up
I say
against.
we more divisive right now
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
against each other?
So,
Yeah.
and that let me transition into my rant. And I'm not super emotionally spent, but I'm a little fatigued behind. Okay, a lot of stuff happened in media, and we know what's been going on in regards to the differences in regards to how we are treated in the court system versus them being treated in the court system. Here's my rant.
Let's hear it.
My rant is simply this. I want everybody, whether you consider yourself African American, American Indian, whatever your descendants come from, your race, and you have melanin in your skin, go read the 13th and the 14th Amendment. Because if you don't read it, you're going to continue to be shocked with how we are treated in the court system. The 13th Amendment and the 14th Amendment, it simply says you're dead in the system. You're not considered human. You're not considered from the original people. Yep. So you're not shocked when one of us go down or something happens and one person get 30 years and another person get 5. So, and I can get into a whole nother realm of things in regards to how you have to identify yourself in the system. But go read 3/5 of a Man and understand that, so you're not so surprised, because at the end of the day, the system will continue to be unfair. Do a better job in regards to maintaining your discipline, being more together around those to be able to do the things you need to do, and then now get more of us on the other side, whether it's in politics, whether it's being judges or whatever. But understand that 13th to 14th Amendment will always be an unjustifiable, unfair system.
Yeah, I hope nobody is shocked about what goes on in the justice system.
It's people shocked.
Oh, I hear it every day, all day.
It's people shocked.
Every day, all day. Like, oh my God, did you see what just...
Oh, you know what? I'm glad you just said that. So the guys in Georgia, they got convicted, right?
Right.
In the jogger case. And the kid in Wisconsin who did the shooting, he got off. Somebody sent me a picture of him with Donald Trump. And that's what I used to be telling people when they was like, Donald Trump is a racist.
Donald Trump will be back, though.
And
by the
this,
way.
what they talking about, he a racist? And I don't know if he a racist.
Watch.
I know he a classist. And I know them rednecks in Georgia, Donald don't mess with them. Because y'all poor white trash. I don't mess with y'all.
Yeah.
But the guy that did the shooting from a very conservative state, Wisconsin, he want to meet with him. He don't want to meet with Billy Bob them.
Well, he want to use him as a platform. I think the young man, I think from everything I read and saw, and again, that's the media pumping, the young man is being used.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, you have to with such a big case.
Yeah, the young man is being used by certain people. But now,
parties.
Yeah, but then I ain't blaming him, because I'm sure he benefiting from it too.
Oh, of course.
You see what I'm saying? But he just being used. They don't care no bit about him. Here's the thing, man. You watch them cases and you watch that, and I try not to watch it too much because I have no control over that. I have no control over how people thinking. But I thought it kind of sad that this is where we at. When that verdict came out, people celebrating, and it should have been, okay, that's what should have happened.
Right.
But that's where we live at, to where you have to celebrate it, because people like, we really didn't know. I had no clue how that was going to go. You know what I mean?
The jogger case?
Yeah, I could have easily said.
Oh, if somebody would have been like, they got acquitted, I'd have been like, okay.
Yeah.
Like,
and that's a sad statement in itself right there.
It's a sad
You know what I mean?
commentary.
But it go back to what you saying, man, about how you looked at. What the amendments say, right? That's right there for you. Let me tell you something, man.
It's right there in black and white.
I remember being a kid when I'm talking about real young. And I used to be like, what was the big deal? Once I realized what was the big deal with and somebody gonna say, oh, here we go, way back. But it's a cumulative effect. What was the big deal with them from stopping the slaves to read? I didn't get it. Then once I get it, that's information. That's knowledge. That's open. That's mind opening. That makes you want to go search and find more.
And that's what I said when I said what I said about, like, we have to do a better job.
Yes.
Like, we cannot excuse the behavior. Like, yeah, we know the system that we're up against, but I'm telling you, there's a lot of us that are succeeding. You know what I mean? And the problem with us succeeding, we're not free with information either, though.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, okay, I'm over here thriving. Dak maybe want some insight or some mentorship or whatever, and I'd be like, nah, I ain't messing with him. And I'm looking at him. He's from the same place I'm from. You know what I mean? And that's where we're going wrong at too. Just being able to share that information or be free with that information,
Yes.
and then understanding what we would like. Look at what you just said was so imperative. Where I used to always use that as like a stapler with my kids. I mean, like, people die for you to read.
Yes.
Like,
Yes,
literally.
sir. Yes, sir. So get your ass in
Like,
there and read.
like, straight up, like, literally.
Yes.
But nobody can get, like, a lot of people don't have that relatability or don't understand that plight where it's like, okay, I don't want to force you into certain things, but I want to force you into certain things.
Yeah.
I want you to know.
You gotta know.
Now, what you do with the information, that's on you. Now, you just got to do something with that information.
Yeah.
So hearing these successes and these guys where I'm glad they even know the information, so I even go seek even more of that because you're right, we don't spew a lot of
not
that.
gonna
We have
get
our
any
small
coverage.
platform right now to talk about these guys. Let's celebrate them,
Yes.
and let's do a lot more of that in regard, because it's like these guys ain't just come from the same demographics as LeBron James did.
No,
LeBron James' story he's a hellified athlete and human being, but it ain't a single mom story. There's some guys in that league that did hellified that came from great backgrounds.
Yes,
and
Absolutely.
great.
But
Yes,
that
sir.
that don't get pushed, and we obviously know why. There's a narrative that they like to push or whatever. But like,
But we can't just sit around and get fat and eat that narrative.
right,
Right.
You know, we were talking off camera. Like, people don't realize how powerful and dangerous the media is. Jim Brown told a story one time, and Jones, you might remember it. I think he was at a hotel when a lady got thrown off a balcony.
Yes, I remember that.
And he said for years after that, people would walk up and be like, "You Jim Brown, you threw a lady off a
the
balcony."
Yeah.
No, he's like, "No, I was there when the lady got thrown off the balcony. I didn't throw nobody off a balcony." Just like the whole Kevin Garnett and the Carmelo Anthony situation. I just saw him on a podcast. He was like, "Of course I didn't say that about that man's wife, but if you ask somebody right now about Kevin Garnett, that's the first thing they'll bring up."
Yeah.
You know, and nobody, the media, they got kind of a easy out. I'd be like, "Yeah, Mario Lovett, my sources told me that you were involved in blah blah blah."
Well,
and then you'd be like, "Well, who your
I've
sources?"
been a part of that,
But no, but then you'd be like, "Well, who your sources?" And guess what they out is? "Oh, I can't reveal my sources."
well, see,
so you can say whatever you want to say.
we got to do a much better job of not being so divisive with each other, and we got to do a much better job of thinking long term, thinking effects of things long term. I look at the young man signed with the Raiders, all that money,
Ooh.
and now it's gone. Your life gone. You done took somebody else's life, running in the back of them, going 100. They say 156 in a residential zone. I can't even wrap my head around that.
And
But Coach-
not to make an excuse, I could see you getting up to 156 going down Cypress.
Listen, I can't even
Like
see it
a
on the
straight
interstate.
shot. I got all the red lights at 4:00 in the morning, and I'm not condoning what he did.
Yeah.
That takes a lot to get up to 156. I couldn't imagine you being in Carver City on a side street in a neighborhood doing 156 miles per hour.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Like you're not gonna miss what's up in front of you when it comes up on you.
There's no way.
There's no way.
There's no way.
When I think about that story and when I heard it, for me, I always think about, my own childhood. I think about situations that I've personally been around or been in where I can either be that voice of reason or I was that ignorant person.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But because I don't ever like judge somebody. You don't know. Like, I always wish this when it come down to saying, okay, they have a rookie summit in the NBA. They have the same thing in the NFL, and that summit is supposed to be able to tell you where to put your money at and put you in a dynamic situation where there's a multiple women around and don't do this and don't drink and don't all these different things they're supposed to express to you to keep you out of situations that occurred, right? Well, you're trying to unwind 22, 23, 24 years of living how you want to. You put all this money in my bank account. Now my ego still hasn't been removed. You know what I'm saying? I still have a mass amount of testosterone. I still have to prepare myself each and every week to go out and perform. So now, what do you think I'm gonna do in my downtime to say, why couldn't this man have enough discipline, or that young lady that was sitting next to him to know that That's extreme. But look at the example. Will somebody else still exercise those same?
It is extreme, but not at 22.
But see,
Well, I'm talking about the extreme in
22,
regard to the amount of how fast you were going.
You think you're gonna live forever?
No,
at
ain't no
22.
doubt.
And you think
but
you-
ego.
But that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's what I'm
22.
saying. When you young like that, they got to think more long term. We have to think more long term. You know what I'm saying?
But how do again? I was 20. We all was 22 at once upon a time. I was an athlete. Like your invincibility level is next level.
Well, I'm gonna tell you something. It is, but
Next
now,
level.
But see, that's somebody right there. I don't know the young man, and my heart out for him. My heart more out for the young lady
family.
that was sitting in the car.
Yeah.
And you just lose your life.
Yeah, and then I could tell I done got older. As soon as I started processing it, I started thinking about his parents. They from a small town in Alabama,
Yes.
possibly.
Yes.
This kid go end up going to prison in the state of Nevada. Every time they want to see their kid, they got to fly from Alabama
Shoot.
all the way to Nevada. You know, I don't know why that part of it jumped in my brain because I was thinking about the parents because we probably older than his parents. He ain't up to 22.
That's it.
And then what they supposed to do is, because of my experience, they supposed to have you within I think it's a 300-mile radius or something like that. When you go in, depending on where you go in.
Not in
at.
the state.
You're not in the state, but in the
Yeah,
feds.
but not- yeah, but that's
the
gonna be a
they
state
can,
case.
They can put you wherever.
I certainly
Whoever you broke the
Yeah.
law at is where
certainly
you
haven't
going.
had that kind of money in front of me or nothing like that what he had. But I always remember thinking, with everything that happened, and I remember thinking this about around high school. If something go wrong here or something, and I used to think about my parents.
Yes.
Because I don't never want to embarrass them and let them down. And then now that I'm older, I think about my wife. I think about my kids. I even think about my players at ACC.
Yeah.
I don't want them to read in the paper, oh, your coach over here picking up whatever. You know what I'm saying? Now,
That
not
happened to my
saying,
high school coach.
yeah, things can happen. You
Yeah.
can make mistakes.
Yeah.
But everything need to be thought of in the long run, not just that minute of gratification, satisfaction, or whatever it is.
That's a hell of a point, Coach.
Yeah.
That's a hell of a point.
Yeah.
It kind of spins off into a discussion I had this week about respect and how when you come from a school that we come from, and I think we have some relatability in regards to this, is like it was a smidget of fear, but it was more respect we had for those loved ones, our parents, our grandparents, the peers, your neighbors. You had respect, and now unintentionally having younger kids, where it's like I would tell them, if I ask you to do something and it's not done with any haste, it's not done with any urgency, and you're moving at a certain pace, I feel that's disrespectful.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
No question.
So when it comes down to these things, and like look at a kid right now who will walk, like say a kid will walk up to me that in my travel program, for example, and be like, Coach, I'll beat you one-on-one. Like, but you know why they do that? And I'm not excusing the behavior, but they'll do that because in today's era with free information, they have to see it in front of you. I would destroy you, kid. Like my basketball background but we know why a lot of that goes on and it happens. You know what I'm saying?
I think they do that also, really, maybe from a lack of social skills. He walking up to you, he really can't say what he want to say. Like, dang, Coach, I like the way you kick your game.
Yeah.
So he's really just saying anything. So it's really like a unconventional
Once again,
icebreaker.
But that's
the
a
last
great
thing
point
we
too.
want to do is show some love toward each other.
Oh my God.
Oh,
you soft.
Speaking of which, let me go ahead and put this out there. Jones was there to witness it. What they call them, fanboys. I had a fanboy moment at the UT game a couple weeks ago. My favorite player was.
He's still talking about this man.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. But I ain't too like Jones say. I'm gonna show him some love because this my guy. Yeah. You know what I'm
Listen,
saying?
You can't do that no more.
Depending on what and I hate to keep using eras, but I have to say it. Depending on what era you were born in, you're gonna show more love than you're gonna show hate. Because when it comes down to it, that's where your ego digresses. Like if this man can play, you're gonna let him know he can play. You'll go at him. You'll do this, whatever the case. Like you can admit that right now that you love that man game.
Brian Williams was my guy.
Like that's your guy.
You know what I do to try to show the young fellas how to love and how to show love? Because they'll come to me and I'll show them something or whatever. And they'll be like, Coach, man, that was you. You were right. I really appreciate that. You know, you showing me whatever. And then I tell them, no, I appreciate you allowing me to coach you.
Listen. Just
Just
being
allow me to do
coachable.
that. I appreciate that. You know what I'm saying?
You hit on something earlier because I remember this was years ago, probably 10, 12 years ago. We were at a park talking about basketball, and we was hooping or whatever. And the dude was like, "Man, you be being a hypocrite." I'd be like, "Well, how am I a hypocrite?" He was like, "You out here talking trash to the dude, but then later on you compliment him." They don't understand that those are two. Like, what? If I'm calling you garbage and saying you can't guard me, that's why we're playing. Now, if we sitting around eating some wings, drinking a beer, somebody be like, "What you think about Mario?" "Oh, no, he can hoop."
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But like, they thought that it was, but when you was talking trash to him, you must not
That's
like
what I'm saying. They
no,
one
I'm
way.
talking trash to him because I do respect him.
They one way.
Yeah, I wouldn't talk no trash to you because you horrible. I'm going to talk trash to him.
Yeah. The unfortunate part is, from elder statesmen to kids in their adolescence to teenagers to 21-year-olds, all that, the soft skills has been removed. Yes. You know what I'm saying? Yes. So that's the unfortunate part. Having those soft skills to know when to compliment, it affects you in your relationships, in your job, in anything that you do. Your internal motivation is being destroyed because of that.
And they've been raised so much on that. I had somebody tell me, "Oh yeah, so and so coach, and I'm here, and you know, I ain't know this, man. I had heard this from another coach in the county. I had heard this and this." And I looked at him. I said, "Okay."
Yeah.
And he said, "You ain't got nothing to say?" I said, "Who cares?" I said, "Everybody can have their opinion. Got nothing to do with all that." I said, "I'm worried about doing what I do right here. I'm focusing on that." I said, "Y'all focus too much on the negative, man. That's gonna always be there. And if you ride on that, I tell them, man, don't get too high, don't get too low. Ride the wave, baby. Ride the wave."
I just wish, we just did a better job of trying to be the best version of ourselves.
That's all.
If you're a lover, then love.
Yeah.
Don't let nothing destroy that. You know what I'm saying? If you're a hater, begin to try to love a little bit more, because that's outside of your framework. We were all born to love. Everything that we house was learned behavior from different dynamics that went on in our life. Period. When you came out the womb, and if you was in a free world, you will figure out how to survive, what to eat, what not to eat. But when we were led down a certain path, there's certain things that we learned that that's why we had to unwind ourselves in regard to certain things that we wanted to get better at.
Yeah.
And how do we learn that? Yeah. Whether it's from a relationship, your wife, your girlfriend, a coach, a teacher, professor, whatever the case may be. So now we looking at all these different, dynamics that allows us to be able to understand, like, try to be the best that you can be. Yeah. Without the like, sit down and think about who you are.
Yeah, you know what I always think? Everybody's into all this retro stuff. They're bringing all the old shoes back. Even with the cars, everybody want the Chevelle. And all, everybody want to bring up all this old stuff. I even saw, and I was thinking about this years ago, getting a house and decorating it, old school, like, how like your grandma's house looked in the 70s. They've been doing that now with Airbnbs. How about we take we go back to the old school with some of the parenting ways? I ain't talking about the discipline.
Yeah, we ain't talking about the corporal punishment. We ain't talking about hitting the kid in the face.
We want to go back to all this old stuff and romanticize it. Let's do that with the parents.
Yeah.
Like, and this one of my pet peeves. I done heard one of my partners, he got 3 kids. He in the car. They going to Chick-fil-A, Burger King, and McDonald's.
Jeez.
And I jokingly always say, we got to, and not you, Jones, because you're a little older. Our generation, we got to be the worst parents ever. We try to make it look like, try to make it seem
how. Bernie Mac say?
What?
We some punk ass parents.
Right. Try to make it seem like we had it so rough growing up because we were taught when you enter a room, you greet the room.
That's what gave you character, man.
You know what I'm saying? Like they want to go back to they want to retro the shoes, the cars, and all this. Let's retro some old school pants. And I ain't talking about no belt.
But it's hard to retro that, because here's the thing: how many people compartmentalize the advantages of that? You only think about the negativity of it and the disadvantages.
Again, how to be divisive.
You know what I mean? Like you don't think about, okay, I burned the lamp and I got my behind tore up and I took a nap immediately after that. But
no, you didn't take a nap. You got beat to sleep.
Beat to sleep. Yeah, I got beat to sleep. But what I learned from that, outside of just lamps at the time were very flammable, because I couldn't even think about putting it out when I hit it.
Oh, you panicked.
That thing, boof. Didn't even know it. Oh, panic immediately. My grandma come out there, I'm about to tear your behind up. Threw the lamp in the sink. I mean, in the tub, put the water on it. It went out. Boy, I'm tap dancing on top of the bed. Like this here on the bed, getting destroyed, right? But it wasn't, I got my behind tore up and I got beat to sleep. It was learning, okay, I learned a lot about the product that was flammable. Right. And I learned, okay, what not to do no more in regards to
how fast a fire could get out of control.
Out of control. You know what I mean?
Mario got whooped so bad. We was somewhere. I said, hey, man, hand me that light. He told me, He wouldn't even have it in light, Joe.
But again, like we don't we think about the distance. If I just thought about I got whooped, and not the other stuff, then guess what? It's hard to go back retro when it comes to the parenting.
Again, long term.
There you go.
Long term. You got to think.
Even if you're investing in Coinbase right now, long term.
I was just gonna say, if we would understand things about property and how these areas changing, it's all long term. It's all long term.
Because
so now you wake up one day.
But remember, Coach, 5 to 7% of your money ain't good enough. The return.
Yeah.
But you're getting 20% 2 years down the line, 30% 3 years down the line. You know what I mean? Like you dead right on that one.
Yeah.
And you know how hard to learn that behavior. Like be patient.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Look at the
take
big
time.
picture.
And I'm all for it. Like I always use this example. I think guys like Tom Izzo and me and Coach Jones talked about this. I think all that's not needed. All that yelling, berating, pointing in a player's face. It don't take all that. You know what I'm saying? Because they men before anything. You know, like me and Jones talk about, you can't stand up and call a play every time up and down the court now.
You got to learn to make decisions.
You got to learn to make decisions. So
But
I like some of the new stuff and I like some
It's
of the old
hard though,
stuff.
because
It's hard.
It's really hard because the problem is, and we touched on this on the last show, because of the IQ. Like I had the luxury of watching like Coach Dawkins at UCF prepare for a practice and go through the practice plan, right? And the one thing I learned from that is how simplified they had to simplify the playbook, and then as they manufacture the successes, like a play, it's like you got 50 options out of this one set, but as they make the play, then they explain it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because now you eliminate the thinking. Because a lot of times, how many guys that you can't thinking is
So Jones, what I'm taking from all this, and this I don't care if I do sound like a basketball snob. On every level, every facet, whether it's training, AAU programs, there ain't not really but a bunch of hacks now. There's very few coaches.
yeah. Nick,
You
real quick,
you know how I am.
the playbook
Yeah.
from 10 years ago versus the playbook now. You got 5 sets versus a man, 4 sets versus zone. You got your press break.
They ain't gonna remember none of that.
Like, but I'm talking about now, think about that. And then look, and then you got your out of timeouts that you would draw. But then more importantly, think about this: if there's no timeouts left, and you're only gonna run this 2 or 3 times in practice, right? Before you get prepared. If I don't have a timeout, we're gonna run Duke if it's under 2 seconds to go.
Right.
Coach, I forgot it. You know what I mean?
Too
Like,
much information.
And we done ran it 4 or 5 times. So you go through those situations, and it's like, okay, let's just say I remember playing college at Charleston, one of the better teams in the country at the time. They playbook, I still remember it to this day. They sets was A, B, C, D. The same thing with Michigan State. It was similar. Like their playbooks, they had 10 sets. Right. We had to go through the scouting report and still know your own stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then, like, okay, if they coming at the elbow and they catching in the horn set and they go to the 4, I already know. Somebody coming off a UCLA cut, they about to come set a back screen on the opposite side. I'll make sure I pressure the ball, push this guy right, because guess what? He loves to go left. All that's in my head as I'm playing in the game.
Yeah.
But see, now, you can call that same play 5 times. They're not running that play 5 times.
No way.
No.
But
they scored off of it the first time.
Yeah.
So come back with it.
You know what's funny? I watched UConn and Auburn the other day. The game started off.
Oh man, I watched that game
Auburn
too.
got a 7-1 kid.
Yeah.
UConn got a big dude by 6'9". He had 10 points. The score was 18-10. He had all 5 of their buckets. They totally went away from
Yeah.
it.
He probably had 12 touches the whole game.
Yep. What I
After that.
started noticing being around youth sports, I think some people think, especially in basketball circles, that you got to trick people.
Oh, yeah, ain't no question you got to
Oh,
trick them.
ain't
That's
no
what they
question.
That's what they
how
think.
Yeah, no.
Like, they be like-
he thinking I'm gonna go over here again.
Yeah.
You know, even though he done scored twice, I ain't going over there again. What?
And you know what I noticed, and I always use this example about great coaches. When Robert Wiener had James Wilder, he got the ball 35 times. You knew he was getting it.
Yeah.
But he wasn't trying to trick you and run a flea flicker, a reverse, double reverse pass.
Yeah.
I'm going to get to 32. But now people think you got to trick people.
I learned a lot like this season in travel because I had a very small team, and I didn't have no internal leadership, and predominantly collectively the team was not that smart, right?
My hat off to you for doing it.
So yeah, like it was. But what ended up happening is I literally took the things that we learned for the first, no lie, coach. I scrapped the whole playbook. 60 days, these kids been preparing since February. We get to April, I'm like, this ain't gonna work. I scrapped the whole playbook. I went to 2 sets, 2 defenses, and after that, they begin to thrive in regards to, because now, even though we had 4 sets before and it was supposed to keep freedom of movement, freedom of play, this travel. This ain't like I don't have to go possession by possession. This displaying your skill set. I can't get fired. You know what I'm saying? Like you this is for you. This ain't for me.
The hotel paid for. We
You
straight.
straight. You know what I mean? Like, so go out, display your skill set, but let me teach you as why you're coming. Why do you have a secondary break? Why are we setting the screen? You know, how to be able to do this. Why the shoot on the left side of the floor, not the right side of the floor? See, I'm going down to break down the film, and I've asked y'all to watch a couple times, but he's on the left side of the floor because he shoots 12% better on that side than he do on the other side.
Yeah, I think sports is a microcosm of society.
Yeah. Oh, no question.
I just think, I think like from generation to generation, like Jones, your daddy them was way tougher than we are.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like you
you
had
they
guys back in the 40s and 50s playing in the league, go fight in a war,
Exactly.
come back and play in the league.
Exactly.
So it's not like
Exactly.
we trying to be the old guys hating on the younger guys. We just trying to figure out like some common ground. Like,
Because it's still a universal language. Y'all still play the sport.
Yeah.
If you're going to coach this and you want to stay, you better judge. I promise you, Coach Dawkins right now coaching different than what he came up
No
with.
doubt.
Oh, without a doubt.
No, every coach is.
Yeah, and in the way he doing it, I do it that way. That's the only way that you can stay in this and keep doing it, because they ain't gonna get the rest of it.
Because they done been around a bunch of hacks. What's your the least favorite term you like to hear yelled out at a basketball game?
Go to work.
Coach,
Because that
hey,
means so much stuff.
Coach Nick played for me for his whole career. I hear him complain, not necessarily complain, but make little comments here and there. I'm like, man, if this would have happened, blah, blah, blah. But he don't understand. What he didn't understand is it's the adjustment I had to make.
Yes.
I could coach y'all totally different than I coach this group now. Because what's going to happen is, guess what? You was a little bit tougher than this group. And the years before that, they was a little bit tougher. So now you almost have to scathe in regards to what you teach, how you teach it, having a level of approach, and continue to be able to do it. Because if you don't, they're going to boycott against you.
Yeah,
Listen,
I promise you that.
Why do you think that transfer portal so full?
What?
It's ridiculous.
What? Listen.
Man, I was talking to a guy 2 weeks ago. There's a kid from Tampa.
One of the worst things to happen too, Coach, that
Yeah, it
transfer
is.
portal.
Play
Yeah,
at
it
a
is.
Power 5 football school. He played safety. They thin that corner. The coaches came to him and said, hey, this week we're going to need you to work out. We're going to give you a lot of help over the top. He was going from safety to corner. Kid left school that day, transferred. Because they asked the safety to play cornerback. They ain't ask him to play safety. Oh, you usually play safety. We need you to come play tight end.
They ain't sit him on the bench.
No, they ain't telling him to put his hand in the ground and come rush off the edge. Yeah, he left. He left.
It's but again, giving that outlet to just say, "Oh, I'm leaving." Nah, like, but I think that
say it's the worst thing, Reed, because the coaches and the universities, in my opinion, had way too much power.
No, they do. But here's what I think. I still think it needs to be
too much power.
Worst thing may be a little dramatic, but I'm gonna say it's a very bad thing because at the end of the day, it doesn't allow you to even get your feet in the system or get wet. Like, you chose that school for a reason. At least put a stigma on it. Still be in control to say, okay, after 2 years you can do this. But like, if you look, man, like, it's like a pandemic. There's thousands of guys transferring every single year.
Which I
Thousands.
Personally, I don't have a problem with the transfer portal because if you don't want to be here, leave.
Yeah,
like,
but
I don't want to coach if you don't want to be here.
Oh, ain't no doubt, and I agree with that.
And I like the freedom. I like the day, okay, I signed with Coach Jones. It ain't what I thought it was going to be. I am going to go over here and sign with Coach Reed.
But it don't work like that. That ain't how it's working, though. It's when in regards to, like, kids are literally making calculated decisions
regardless of how they get to the decision.
What you teaching them is, and I tell the kids this all the time, You can go somewhere and it ain't working out, and then you transfer.
It ain't gonna work out.
It still ain't gonna work out. You know why? Because you in a mindset, instead of saying what I need to do to make this work, what I need to do to be successful. Now you giving in to the thing of I can be successful wherever I go. I can fight and do this. Now the next place, the littlest thing. Oh, I can't do this. I done transferred. You know what I'm saying? And I got to go. Trust me, you be shocked the amount of calls I get and the amount of dudes trying to transfer, and then it's always the other coach's fault. Now, when you go to this other place and it happen again, whose fault is it then? And not only can't you answer that question, but now you in a pickle now because, your options done dwindled.
I tell you what, though.
They getting some bad advice from the house.
Boom.
From the AAU.
Boom.
I ain't even gonna say coach. I'm like you now. I'm gonna start calling these dudes hacks. And they ain't coaches.
AAU hacks.
That's what they are.
I
They
tell you
hacks.
what, though. I don't know if y'all paid attention to this, though. Something a little off the subject. Have y'all seen some of these super seniors because of COVID? Like you got some guys that's been playing for 7 years.
Yeah.
24 years old. Yeah.
But see, I don't know. Hey, it's been like that in JUCO.
No, it have. But I'm talking about like in universities, it's like, man, it did hinder a lot of kids to get into school because of that.
Yeah.
But like, I mean, some of these like it's like at West Virginia State where Devin plays at. It's like 4 guys that were seniors that came back, and it's like there's I think 6. One got red shirt, so it's his 6th year.
So
All you do is create a mess.
Yeah.
keeping in line, like how
And
we
they ain't
just
gonna level
talking-
out for about 3 years.
Yep.
Yeah.
How we was talking about the world different. I saw something. They was out in Texas. These kids, they league shut down a year or 2 ago because of COVID. They got invited to this other league. This is I've never understood this. How you can be a coach and an administrator of the league. So they've been beating everybody 35-0.
Who?
This out in Texas, Little League football.
Oh yeah.
They tell the parents, hey, the playoffs about to start, but y'all can't play. Y'all too good.
I saw that.
Really?
Jones.
I saw that. I couldn't believe it. I saw that.
Like, backed it up with, well, they beat this team 35 and blah, blah, blah. They've only given up 6 points all year.
But that's what we raising now.
Y'all can't play because they too good?
That's what we raising now.
Wow.
And guess what? And everything.
But I thought that's what we want to see.
in our day.
If Denzel playing in
In
the
my
movie,
day.
who's considered one of the better ones, you're going to watch the movie, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
If LeBron on TV,
Man, listen,
You
my
watch LeBron.
pride wouldn't even allow me to. My pride,
Man, listen.
I ain't even to tell no coach y'all too good.
Ain't
Beat
no-
us 50 zip again.
That's
I'm
real.
not finna tell
There ain't
you
no
that.
pride no more. There's fake pride.
Oh,
There's some fake pride. There's a lot of talking,
That's
yim yamming, and showcasing. It's
See,
fake
but
pride.
that's the thing. I done been on both ends of it. You done played. Like I said, I played for the Spartans. We done went undefeated, unscored on, and all that. Imagine somebody coming to
That's
one of our
tough.
coaches saying y'all can't play because y'all too good.
that's tough. That's real tough.
And another problem with these hacks, a lot of them ain't even played nowhere. Ain't even did nothing.
But you know what? With the hacks are salesmen, though. I've seen it in their salesmen.
Yeah, they are. That's what you told me before.
Yeah, I've seen so much of it as when I started to think about it and see it. It's just salesmen. It's like, okay, we got program directors at these particular spots where one guy's in pharmaceuticals. He created this beautiful newsletter for basketball players, and now he's an expert. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, and then if you're providing a platform and a service that's substantial and good enough for some of the parents, they're going to think everything that's coming at your mouth like golden chips.
I had a kid went to a place. He wasn't good enough.
Yeah.
Right? But he came to me, hometown kid. I'm all about Tampa kid. If you can help me.
Yeah.
I thought he could help me, brought him in. He ain't helped me. So now I'm the worst ever. Don't know what I'm doing, can't come. We talked about this before. The dude before me ain't the worst ever because he got rid of you. So now I'm the worst ever. So now you going somewhere else. You going somewhere else. And it's the same results. But now it's, I had ruined your confidence. That's why it ain't working. Why we keep looking for excuses instead of saying, one, maybe you ain't working hard enough. Two, maybe you ain't good enough and you need to go off in another venture. But you know what I'm saying?
Today's show is more family oriented, but it's something I'm not going to say it. But listen, fellas, if you a homeboy if you a constituent, if you
An esteemed constituent.
if you an associate, stop riding so much and putting this fake confidence in your people.
Thank you.
So
Like, please.
What did you tell me? Didn't you tell me one time you just a bystander somewhere, and the dude was like, "Oh, well, I'm gonna go to ACC." And what did the dude say? "Oh, well, over there."
he don't take no kids from Tampa. I was like, there's 4 dudes from Tampa on the roster at the time. People just be talking.
Just be running your mouth.
I had lunch with
With
one of my
no
old,
facts.
I had lunch with one of my old teammates. Shout out Greg Miller. We went to lunch the other day, and I remember he played golf at Brevard Community College.
Yes.
And I don't know why I never asked him this before. I said, Greg, why didn't you play at Florida? And in between bites of food, he said, oh, I wasn't good enough. And he kept eating.
That's heresy. You can't say that now.
And we kept talking about
Say
something.
that all the time about making it to the NBA.
And I said, what you mean?
Wasn't good enough. Why you say that? I wasn't.
Yeah. So I was like, what you mean? I was like, Greg, what you mean you wasn't good enough? He was like, yeah. He was like, I wasn't good enough to play.
Did I ever play?
No.
I mean, I had a shot. I worked out for 2 teams. Like, I wasn't good enough. I was good.
But to
wasn't good enough.
To hear Greg say that was refreshing. He was just like, oh, I wasn't good enough.
Yeah.
And he kept eating and we kept talking.
Today is, well, you know how they are up
said,
there.
"I wasn't good enough."
And they ain't give me a shot. And this, see, that's what we raising now.
He said he got up there. He said he thought about it. He said he went out, played a couple rounds with the guys. He was like, the control that these guys at Florida had of the golf ball, he's like, it was amazing. He's like, yeah, I definitely couldn't have played there.
And that don't
that
mean
was it.
that don't mean you done gave in. That don't mean you think less of yourself. That mean you honest with yourself. And now you're gonna be able to move on to something else and be successful.
That's what he
Because
did.
you're gonna push through.
What I told you he was going to pitch when me and him left.
Oh, yeah, the
A $75 million
Levi's.
deal to Levi's.
But guess what? A lot of that was gained on that confidence right there. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
but
or whatever the number was.
But see, now everything is somebody else's fault.
Yep.
Everything is, well, they ain't give me no shot. Then you get your shot. Well, they had room before I got here and all. What?
Yeah.
What?
Ain't nobody.
We ain't instilling no confidence in our kids. We ain't getting them to look at a long range picture. You know what I'm saying? We ain't teaching it. Not me, but we as a people are teaching them about being divisive, and it's always somebody to hold you back. And then don't let me get in a rant about being a black coach.
Oh,
Don't let me even go there.
black male coach.
Oh, shh.
in a predominantly
nothing.
in a predominantly melanated field that don't respect you just because of the shade
You
that you
ain't
are.
nothing. You know what I'm saying? And so you got to deal with that. Guess what? That don't bother me because I feel good about me. One
Yeah.
thing I can tell you, I love Tommy Jones.
That's real. Yeah.
You feel
Supposed
Crazy
to.
about it.
Okay.
Yeah, messed up about it. Yeah, messed up about him now.
You know, but I'm also realistic, and when I know my shortcomings, but that in turn, that's what makes you stronger. When you know your shortcomings, because now A1, you can work on them, and 2, you can sidestep them in the right manner, in the right place when you need to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Who did it better? Real
Who did it better, Nick?
Who did it better? I got one for you.
Oh, you go then.
Pookie on New Jack City
Ooh.
or Samuel L. on
Oh, Samuel L. I don't even know what you're going to say.
Samuel L. on
Samuel.
Jungle Fever?
on Jungle Fever.
Samuel.
Talking about Gator?
Oh, Jungle-
Gator. Gator or Pookie?
Who did it better, folks? Ooh.
You got me on that one.
That's a tough one.
You specified the film, you got me on that.
I'm a go.
That's a tough one.
I'm gonna go Gator because I heard the backstory that he was actually on crack while filming that movie.
Man, stop playing.
True story. He was on rocks while he was filming that.
You know Samuel L. Jackson has been in more movies than any actor of all time.
I believe that.
No, me and my son were
that.
watching an old episode of Spencer for Hire.
He was on
For
that.
those people that don't know, Pookie.
That was my show.
That was your program.
Yeah. I messed with Spencer for Hire too.
Listen.
My grandma used to watch it.
My son Nolly said, Dad, that's Samuel L. Jackson. He said, what year was this? I said, 1985. He said, he's been old that whole time.
The whole time.
Yeah, he's been old since 85.
Pookie and Gator were 2 crack addicts in the movie. One in the Jungle Fever, the other one in New Jack City.
Pookie did his thing, though.
But listen, Pookie is calling me.
Calling me.
That's funny.
I think
Hey.
I'm going with Pookie.
I'm going with Gator.
I'm going with Pookie.
I'm going to go with Gator. Who you got, Coach Jones?
You the record breaker, coach. You gonna break the. There's 3 of us.
I think I'm going with Pookie.
Oh,
Recency bias.
Yeah, for real. Hey,
subscribers, please chime in and let us know, because that Samuel was looking bad.
listen, Samuel was looking bad as Gator. If you don't, go look at the movie Jungle Fever.
Gator used to do a dance for his mama to actually get the
What
money.
you say,
Do the dance, baby. Yeah.
Dance, baby.
Yeah.
Dance.
Yeah, Gator used to
Don't sway my vote.
Yeah, think about it. That Gator actually
Yeah.
had a dance that he did for
See,
mama.
look, Dyke coming with them stats. See, boy, listen, now, when you think about Gator walking down the street, and guess who his girlfriend was?
Halle Berry.
Halle Berry.
Yeah.
No, I don't know. Hey,
I'm going Gator.
Hey, I'm
Hey,
going
y'all let us
Pookie.
know who y'all
I'm
like.
going
Where
Pookie.
you sway me with the dance.
Yeah,
You
do the
sway me
Gator
with the
dance.
Listen, I'm
baby.
going
Yeah.
Pookie. I'm
He
going
had a
Pookie.
dance.
I'm going Chris Rock at 100 pounds on New Jack
He
City.
was literally 103.
Literally. with a hot top.
Right.
I promise you.
Hey, I saw him on the show a couple years ago. The lady was like, "You 53?" He told her, "This rich 53 now. Everybody don't look like that."
That's real. Hey, thank you for listening. Please subscribe to the channel. We're trying to get to 600. Chime in on our new segment that we
did
got.
it better?
Who did it better? You know what I mean? We're going to try to make this thing as versatile as we can,
Yeah.
from actors to sports
everything.
athletes, to everything that we did, that we know who did it better in regards. It could be an interview that somebody did.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Practice. We talking about practice. We may go AI and my coach at Arizona State. We'll keep y'all posted on that. Hey man, thank you for listening. 99 ain't good enough where we
Keep it 100.
100.